Hi, this is a response to Queen Rania. Your Highness, you quoted someone saying that we cannot judge another culture through the lens of our own cultural compass. I think this overlooks some things. If you were to somehow set aside your own cultural upbringing, whatever culture that is, you would be left with nothing. You would have no yardstick at all. There's no such thing as a human who doesn't have a culture. Everybody is something. I'm an American, you're a Jordanian, other people are whatever they are. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a particular cultural perspective. In fact, it's a necessary component of being human. And it does not get in the way of cross-cultural understanding. I had a very interesting experience one time in Istanbul, Turkey. I was just there as a tourist, but I wanted to get out and see how the everyday resident of Istanbul really lived his life. So I went over to the Asia side where they have a lot of the residential neighborhoods, and I took a long meandering walk through the streets for the entire afternoon. One of the first things I noticed was that, well, the buildings, they had had an earthquake a few years previously, and everything from, I would guess, maybe 30 years ago and older was standing. Everything built after the earthquake, of course, was standing, but all the buildings in between, gone. I read a newspaper article around that time that said that there had been a lot of bribery in the construction industry, and this is what had resulted in all these buildings collapsing. Is that something that would happen in America? Culturally, I would say no, not on that scale. We have some corruption here, just as you do anywhere, but we do not have as much of it as I know they have in some countries. Culturally, it's simply not something that there's really much tolerance for here. We put an extremely high value on honesty and integrity. I know that those are valued in other cultures as well. Here it's particularly as high. We had a president who told a white lie one time, and we impeached him for it. It's just something we're very serious about. And while you have some corruption, you simply don't have as much as was evident in Istanbul in this one event. But then here's the interesting thing. I continued my walk, and I came across one house that had not completely fallen down, but it had lost one entire wall. Somebody had strung up some blankets to cover up this missing wall, and through gaps in the blankets I could see there was someone living in there. They had put in some carpets, there was a TV I could hear playing, it looked like some kitchen utensils or something hanging on a wall, and there appeared to be a woman living in this house. And this amazed me because this is in the middle of a city. You try this in any city in America, someone's going to walk in, they're going to abuse the woman, they're going to take the TV, that's going to be the end of it. You couldn't survive for a week in a house like that in America. But here's something that I could recognize was something that the people of Istanbul were doing much better than we did in America. They could have a neighborhood that was actually this safe. This is amazing. Now, do my cultural values get in the way of my seeing that? Oh no, on the contrary. It's because of my cultural values that I can recognize the good in this. And cultural values, keep in mind, those are probably the most expensive things you will ever possess. Everything that you know about good and bad, right and wrong, what works in life and what doesn't work, everything had to be learned the hard way. Somebody in the past died for pretty much every single thing that you were taught. People had to struggle through those lessons and make mistakes and by trial and error find the right way of doing things. And those lessons have been handed down to us over the generations. They should not be lightly set aside for any sort of reason. We do not make ourselves richer by setting aside our cultural heritages. We should embrace them. We should embrace who we are and what we've been taught, because those are tremendously valuable lessons. The way to advance cultural understanding, cross-cultural understanding, and the way to cut down on stereotypes is not by making ourselves poorer. It's by going out and learning about the other guy, going out to the other cultures. It's by walking the streets of the other man's town, figuratively speaking. That is the way forward. Thank you.